it was a really difficult one. My family, I've got 3 young children now. I had two young children at the time. I decided to leave because it was a strain. The job was all consuming. It was 7 days a week. Despite being at home some days, the workload was still 10, 12 hours a day. And I know most analysts in this room and most people who are recruitment in this room will understand that that is the case. It was probably more challenging than I imagined it to be, as someone who's been local in the Northwest for my whole life. Newcastle was an unbelievable city, but it was just something that I found incredibly difficult, and it probably affected my ability to perform my job to the level I would have liked it to. So I felt as though the opportunity to come to Citigroup with the job role that I was given was something that I'd have been silly to have turned down. It's a football decision and a family decision, and if you pair them both together, you've got a life decision there that you have to make.
Yeah, it's a tricky one, isn't it, that probably a lot of people can empathise with, really, but the impact that it has on family life to be involved, you know, with the first team.
It is, and I was living at home for the 3 seasons that Liverpool were in the Champions League when I was there. And I think I saw my wife once a month. I was never home. We had no days off. There was no space within the calendar. And I had 2 daughters that were under the age of 3 at the time. And I think that that's okay. I think that was okay at the time. And then I look back at them now as a 6 and a 4-year-old, and I think that's not fair on them. It consumes you. Football consumes you. If you want to achieve or you want to be successful at the elite level of football, I think it consumes every part of your life. You never switch off. You can never switch off. So it was very difficult. It was very difficult for them more than it was for me, because I was in a process where I was trying to achieve something. Luckily for me, I was in a place where we did achieve. I know there's hundreds of staff who are putting in equally as much work or even more work and not seeing the success. So I knew that I was lucky, but I was also mindful that the effect it was having on my wife and my children was something that I wasn't comfortable with.
Yeah. And
that's global in football. There's people all over the world who are struggling with that every single day, and it's not a process that's easy to solve.
No, I wonder if it's one football is going to crack, really. Because I was saying Russell Martin had said about Sundays are off limits for football, and that's his family day, puts the phone in the drawer.
Yeah.
But whether he'll be able to keep that up or not, I don't know.
I've been really lucky. So Peter Kravietz, who was like kind of the coach-analyst at Liverpool, he very rarely on the down days, because he was all consumed as well with the European travel and everything. He would very rarely contact me on those days. If he needed anything, it would be the morning of the next day we were back in, which always gave us enough time to prepare it. And that is something that the coaches are mindful of. They're all very aware that, you know, like I say, they're not just football coaches anymore. They are leaders, and they are applied psychologists as well, and they understand the processes. So I think managers understand sometimes you need a bit of time, but the amount of work that you need to get through to be successful at that level is more than an individual can. And because teams are so tight, because managers are so... because it's essential to know exactly what they're thinking at all times. They keep their groups quite small. And when you do that, you can't spread yourself into 2 or 3 people. You have to do the work yourself, because you know exactly what he's pitching and exactly what he's demanding from you. So yeah, it's very difficult, but they are aware of it, and they're very open to... I know for a fact if I said to the manager at Newcastle, I need a day, he would have been more than willing to do it. But you almost feel like you can't. You're so driven, you're so focused on your process that you can't do that. Yeah.